Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today Psyonix released an update which adds a new feature called Free Play Ball Control. If you're a PC player that has been using Bacchus mod, this won't be anything new to you. Essentially, this adds the free play features from Bacchus mod like automatic passing, dribbling, and other kinds of free play setups natively into the game. And this is a welcome addition to the training tools in Rocket League. Previously, if you were on console and you wanted to access these additional free play features, well, you were just out of luck. So adding this feature directly into the game is something that we can all get excited about. According to the patch notes, there are 5 new setups available in free play. You can take possession of the ball, start a dribble, pass the ball, you can pop the ball up into the air, similar to the hoops tip-off, or defend a shot on net. So let's jump into game and see what that looks like, and also I'll be giving you my tips on different ways to practice with it. Okay, we're in game now, and it looks like they've added a tooltip in the top left to show you which bindings trigger what setups. Most of them are bound to the directional pad, but the defend a shot setup was bound to my left bumper, which I use for air roll. So I had to unbind that for the time being. So we'll start with the option to take possession, and it looks like this just rolls the ball in front of you. This will be a great way to set up basic dribbles and air dribbles off the wall. But let's say you're a beginner. One great way to start out is just to drive towards one of the side walls, tap the button to take possession, and then just try to take a touch that nudges the ball back towards the net. You might need to take multiple touches, but this will get you used to some basic directional control around the ball. One tricky thing starting out will be learning how to match your speed to the ball so that you're not overrunning it or falling behind it each time you go for the touch. You can also practice using your front and side dodges to give the ball a little bit more power as you're moving it. And you might notice that if you cut in a little bit too hard, the ball will actually lift and go onto your hood. And using this method, you can set up different dribbles around the field. Another great thing you can do here is to take light touches into the ball, back away, and then touch it again as it's bouncing. This is called a bounce dribble. Now with all of these setups, they aren't just for the ground. You can also use them going up the wall and in the air. So if I take possession as I'm going up the wall, you can see I get a great setup to go for an off-the-wall play. Now obviously this is a lot more advanced, but you can use this to set up air dribbles or go for double taps or any kind of off-the-wall play. You can also boost into the air and use the take possession button to start practicing air dribbles as well. If you're newer to the game, this is going to be really difficult to control, and I would suggest not practicing with this until much later. But if you're more experienced, you can use this to practice all kinds of aerial control. You can throw in regular air rolls, directional air rolls, and even try flip resets. Next up is the start dribble button, and this is going to be almost identical to the take possession button, except it starts the ball on top of your car. So if you're learning how to dribble or do flicks and you want to skip the dribble setup part, then you can use the start dribble button to get the ball directly on top of your car. But honestly, I found the main uses for the start dribble option to be pretty much exactly the same as the take possession button. So things like ground dribbles, air dribbles up the wall, and even starting air dribbles while I'm midair, you can use either button. I practiced using both for a few minutes, and I found that I liked the start dribble button a little bit better. Since it puts the ball on top of your car, the touches seem to give you more of a variety. For example, if I go up the wall with the take possession button, it rolls pretty cleanly, which is great if you're learning. But using the start dribble button would sometimes give me more of a bounce off the wall, which helped give me different setups, and ultimately I felt like the practice was a little bit more challenging that way. One thing you want to avoid when using either of these setups is that you want to make sure you have some starting momentum before you go to set up the shot. It's going to be a lot harder to control a dribble if you're starting from a really slow pace, and that's usually not how things go in game anyway. So make sure you're practicing with some starting momentum. Next up, we have the ability to pass the ball, and I think this is the most versatile option that we have. This can be used really well to learn what I call a pop-up aerial. So start the shot from a standstill and press the pass button. The ball will launch towards you, and you just want to pop it up like this and follow it in the air to drive it towards net. I think this is one of the best way to learn aerials if you're someone that's just starting out. And even for experienced players, you can use this to set up air dribbles and flip resets and any other kind of advanced aerial mechanic you want to practice. Another great and simple way to use this is to reset the shot and start driving towards the ball, and pressing the pass option will just kind of move it out to the side, setting you up for a really great power shot opportunity. I think this is the best way in the game right now to practice basic shooting. Of course, we can't talk about the pass option without talking about using this for redirects. Just drive anywhere you want to in the field. You can drive on the ground, you can go off the wall, or just start in the air and press the pass button and you'll get a perfect pass directly to your card that you can redirect into the net. Be careful with this though, because your teammates are never going to pass to you this well, so don't start getting your hopes up. This is one of the additions that I'm most excited about with this update. Being able to practice redirects dynamically and outside of a training pack is something that console players have never had up to this point. So I'm really excited that those players will have a chance to practice like this too. Not only that, the pass option is really good for learning backboard defense as well. Drive up on the backboard and press the button to generate a pass. From there, you can practice either flying out towards the ball or waiting for the ball to come to you and controlling it and taking it on a dribble. I'm sure there are tons of other creative ways to use this to practice different things, and so if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. So next up we have the launch ball option, which causes the ball to float up into the air. I think this will be useful for practicing mid-level power shots. And what I mean is that these are the shots that you need to jump in the air and boost a little bit as if you're going for an aerial, but hold on to your flip so that you can flip into the ball. If you want to move up out of the gold ranks and into diamond and champion, you have to be really comfortable with these kind of shots. If you want to make it even more challenging, you can tap the button twice for an even higher bounce. I think this will be great for learning how to get more advanced car control in the air. Once you've learned basic aerials, you can use this setup to start practicing air rolls, double tap, and all other kinds of more advanced aerial setups that you'll need as you start to rank up. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you don't want to always be setting these up from the reset position. You really want to be adding as much variety into these positions as possible, so I'd encourage you to drive around, move the ball around a bit, and practice the different setups from different positions on the field. This will make each situation feel more similar to how it would actually come up in a game. This can be used for a lot of advanced setups too. This is a great way to practice different kind of flip resets and directional air roll, so I think the Grand Champion to SSL players will get a lot of use out of this setup as well. At this stage, you can start combining some of the different buttons too. One thing I found that was quite enjoyable was to roll the ball as if I'm taking possession, then drive on the wall and launch it up to set up a wall shot situation. One thing I thought was interesting was that the height of the launch doesn't scale with your speed, unlike other setups. This means that you'll almost always have to tap the button twice in order to get higher setups. I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but maybe I'll get used to it. Okay, so last up we have the defend shot option, and I'm actually going to switch that out with the take possession binding since I have limited room on my controller, and that one's pretty similar to the start dribble option. And I'm really excited to experiment with this one because I think, especially for beginners, making sure that you have solid defense should be your first priority. So I'll just drive into the net here and practice different shots and just see how quickly I can chain these back to back. Now with this kind of practice, you get out what you put into it. So the more comfortable you force yourself to make different saves in, the more experience you'll get maneuvering your car and handling different defensive situations. You don't want to spend too much time making saves directly in net though. In fact, I'd encourage you to start on the left and right sides of the goal and practice sweeping across the net with your saves. Because as you learn to rotate, this is how you'll actually be having to make these saves most of the time. And I'll just show you some other examples with different kinds of variety. So I would also practice doing things off the back wall. I'd practice starting from midfield and running back to get a save. You can practice facing the opposite net and taking the save backwards. Really, there are no rules when it comes to this. One thing I noticed though is that the ball only shoots on the half that you're currently playing in, which makes it difficult to set up a situation where you would need to save a long shot, for example. So you might still have to use training packs for those. Finally, I'd also suggest experimenting with using different amounts of boost. You can even select the option to turn off unlimited boost in free play, and that will just bump up the difficulty of these saves that much more, which will give you even more benefit from your practice time. So that wraps it up for my walkthrough on how to use these different setups and my suggestions on different ways that you can practice with them. Like I said earlier, if you think of anything that I missed, let me know in the comments. I know my voice is really boring and monotone, but honestly, I'm really excited about this. You know, the skill ceiling in Rocket League just keeps getting higher and higher every day. And with that, it becomes more difficult for new players to pick up this game without constantly just getting completely destroyed when they try to play online. So I think this update will make a lot of the more advanced skills that you need to succeed in this game more accessible to a general audience. So I can't wait for people to get in there and start practicing with this, and I can't wait to see what Psyonix has next. And we can't talk about how great this feature is without acknowledging Cinderblock. Cinderblock recently joined the Psyonix team as a developer after creating tons of different Bacchus mod plugins. Cinderblock was the mastermind behind adding this feature into the game, and so I just want to give a big thanks to him and the rest of the team at Psyonix for adding this into the game. Now, if we could just get some more custom training features, I promise I would never ask for anything again. But that's going to wrap up the video. Thanks a ton for watching. If you enjoy this, please consider dropping a thumbs up on the video and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me a lot. Also, join my Discord where we talk about practice, training packs, and really all things Rocket League. I'm going to have some exciting news on there soon, so make sure you're in it. But other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.